Welcome to Ohio Roots, the official podcast of the Ohio Genealogical Society. Join us as we embark on a captivating journey through Ohio's rich genealogy, history, and abundant resources. Hosted by me, OGS Executive Director Noel Poirier, this podcast brings you insightful conversations with a diverse array of guests, from OGS members, chapter leaders, and staff to renowned genealogists, historians, and influential figures within the genealogical community. Each episode delves into fascinating topics and captivating stories. So grab your headphones, hit that play button, and join us on this enthralling journey of Ohio's roots. My guest on this episode of the OGS Ohio Roots podcast is Angela O'Neill. Angela is the manager of local history and genealogy for the Columbus Metropolitan Library in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to talk to her today a little bit about what the library offers folks researching genealogy and family history, what kind of resources are there, how you can access them, what kind of programs they offer, and a little bit about Angela's background herself. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Angela O'Neill. I'd like to thank Angela O'Neill from the Columbus Metropolitan Library for joining me here today on the OGS Ohio Roots podcast. Angela, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Before we get into the meat of our conversation, how did you get started in libraries?
Oh, I actually got started in libraries when I was, a kid going to the public library. I grew up in Amherst, Ohio, and went to the library there. And in high school, I worked as a page at the Ritter Public Library in Vermillion. And then from there, went on to Kent State as a history major and worked in libraries, all throughout. But it wasn't until at my master's degree at Miami of Ohio that I realized that you could actually work in an archives as a job, and so I started working at the university archives there, and the rest is history.
So what is your title now with the Columbus Metropolitan Library?
I am the local history and genealogy manager here at Columbus Metropolitan Library.
And what does that entail for you?
That for us at Columbus Metropolitan Library, that means our division is in charge of the research area for local history and genealogy. So we help people answer all their genealogy questions and point them to resources. We also work with our digital collection called My History, which right now is close to 2 million digital images of all kinds of things, books, photographs, genealogy records that our customers can search across all of those. And then we also work on the archival collection here at the library. So the processing, the intake of those collections and making those accessible as well.
Is the collection that you have, that you keep at Columbus Metropolitan Library, is it kind of geographically focused on Columbus, or is it Ohio general?
That's a great question. Our heart is Columbus. So we collect Columbus and Central Ohio at our core. So we're going to have everything related to Columbus and Central Ohio. But then we also try to have a focus on Ohio more generally. So we're at least for any county in Ohio going to have a small section for those. And, counties closer to Franklin are going to have more than counties further away, but you're at least going to find some basic information for every county. And then we have a section for every state in the union as well. So you'll be able to come in and find those materials as well. We do have a stronger focus on states that have historic migration patterns to Ohio. Sure. So that's going to be Virginia, Pennsylvania, East Coast states primarily. And we're still building the collection for the Western states. So we're trying to make that connection from when people have left Ohio and moved west. Where did they go? So that's an area that we're focused on building right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have the same challenge with the OGS Samuel D. Isley Library, which is the idea that Ohio for many people was a pass-through state.
Right.
That they may have only spent maybe one census record worth of time in.
Yeah.
So having to keep a record of those states farther west where our Ohio ancestors moved on to is a pretty big challenge because, literally there's 50 states. So
exactly.
It's a lot of resources.
Right.
So it's hard to do.
It's always a discussion about resources too. How much, as we continue to collect more Columbus and Central Ohio, how much can we really take? So we do kind of have those conversations a lot.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we also have some special collections that are important for your listeners to know about. We have the Palatine's to America collection here at Columbus Metropolitan Library, and that's one of our largest donations that we've had, as well as the Huguenots collection, the French Huguenots, and then we have the Joy Wade Moulton British and Irish collection. Joy Wade Moulton was a genealogist and wrote for the Columbus Dispatch for many years, and when she passed, she donated her collection to the library. So we do go even beyond the 50 states as well.
I know, at least, with our collecting and perhaps with your collecting as well, trying to find resources for those more underrepresented groups in Ohio's genealogical history. Has there been a push with the Columbus Metropolitan Library to do that as well?
Yeah, and that's actually been was originally a large purpose around starting our digital collection, in that we know that there are many communities in Central Ohio that haven't been as well documented as others. So we wanted to be able to find a way to do that. And there's not always a book you can go buy or a set of records you can microfilm, that sort of thing. So we started our My History digital collection, and the core of that collection are loans from our customers. So we look at all kinds of different partner organizations and individuals. One collection that we just finished up, for example, is the Deal Whitaker Funeral Home collection. Deal Whitaker is a historically African American funeral home here in Columbus, and those records go back to the 1890s. And so we were able to digitize those, and it actually became a donation to us. And we worked with the Franklin County Genealogical and Historical Society to do the work to process that collection and make it available. So we're always looking for collections that represent the full history of our community.
Hi everyone, Noel Poirier here, Executive Director of the Ohio Genealogical Society and your host for the Ohio Roots podcast. Did you know you can help preserve the past and empower the future? Your donation to the Ohio Genealogical Society helps protect vital family history records and supports research for generations to come. Visit www.ogs.org/donate and give today. Thank you so much for your support. If you enjoy listening to the Ohio Roots podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could go to whatever platform it is that you listen and give us a good review. Reviews help us get more listeners and reach more people with Ohio Roots and what we're trying to do with the Ohio Genealogical Society. So please leave us a nice review, and thanks for listening. And I think that's a challenge, particularly as our communities change and age out, trying to find those resources and make them accessible. I think that's kind of gets to my next question, I guess, which is there's obviously physical access to your collections, and then there's also obviously there's a digital or a remote interface. Can you describe for me and for our listeners how they can access your collections both physically and remotely?
Yeah, so if you would like to come into the library, we are open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday, Saturday, 9 to 6, and Sunday, 1 to 5. So lots of great access there. The genealogy and local history collection is open all the hours that the building is open, and we always have trained staff available to help. So I always recommend, if you're stuck, if you're running into a brick wall, talk to one of the librarians. They really know their stuff. On the website of things, you can access our local history and genealogy page at www.columbuslibrary.org, and that will give you access to our My History digital collection, which is available 100% for free, 24/7 on the web. That's those 2 million images I mentioned. And then if you go further down on that page, you can access all of our premium databases. So these are the things we pay for. We have Ancestry.com. That's in library use only, though, because of our subscription there. We are a Family Search affiliate library, so you can get that access at Main Library if you come to see us here. If you do have Columbus ancestors, one of our more recent purchases is the Columbus Dispatch digital collection, which does require a library card, but you can access it from home if you have a card. And that is full text searchable back to 1871. So a great resource for all kinds of family information that you might not find anywhere else. And just a reminder that anyone in Ohio is eligible for a library card. So even if you're not in Columbus, please come in and get yourself a library card.
I have a Columbus Metropolitan library card, so I can use it with my Libby app. So there you go.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's what we like to hear.
Is there a particular collection that you think is underutilized there that people should know about?
Oh, yeah. Actually, we also have a Find My Past subscription, and we don't see as much use for it as I would think that we would. I think sometimes people are focused on just getting back to that immigration point when their ancestors come to the United States.
Sure.
But Find My Past is great for going back even further. So our librarians are happy to help people use that resource and help them through it. So I think that that's one for thinking of our electronic resources. Thinking for our physical resources, the archival collection could get more use. It's a little harder to use because you have to look at the finding aids and you have to kind of have an idea of what you're looking for. But again, our librarians are happy to help. So if you tell them what you're looking for, they're going to get you there eventually.
Are the finding aids available online for people to look at, or is it something that they are?
They're mostly online. Okay. We have close to 200 archival collections, and more than, I would say probably half to two-thirds of those have finding aids online. Nice. But there are new things coming in all the time that we can also set you up with if we know your research topic.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Does the library, and particularly local history and genealogy, angle on it, do you offer programs where people can come in and learn from your librarians and from volunteers or do you partner with other organizations to present these programs?
Yeah, we do all of the above. Our librarians will do all kinds of different programs, genealogy focused in terms of beginning genealogy. We do a special Black genealogy program, and then we do all sorts of specialized ones, both around the collection and how to find different records. You can find those on our website as well, columbuslibrary.org. And then if you go to our local history and genealogy page, there's a list of events there, or you can just click on the events tab. We also really love to partner with other organizations on programs as well. So we partner a lot with the Franklin County Genealogical and Historical Society. We've partnered with the Columbus Historical Society, the Franklin Historical Society. If you are listening from another organization, we'd love to hear from you. And we're always looking for ideas and ways to connect people to the past as well.
So I have to assume, since you're in the role you're in, that you've done some family genealogy of your own?
I have, yeah. Okay.
Who's your earliest Ohioan?
My earliest Ohio is not very far, well, comparatively not very far back. I have some chiselers who lived in Berlin Heights, Ohio in the 1870s, 1880s. Okay. So they're my first Ohio connection. Before that, we were in Pennsylvania for a while. I'm mostly, besides the chiselers, which are the German side, the rest of the family's Irish. My last name's O'Neill, so yeah, that's a giveaway. Right. But Ohio is pretty recent compared to some people who can go back a lot further. Yeah.
I think it's always very helpful when helping people with their genealogy to have actually done your own genealogy.
It sure is. Yeah.
Because otherwise it gives you a little more credibility.
It sure does. And I did genealogy back in the day before the internet, which appalls some people today. But back when you had to write letters to courthouses and people all around the country to ask for help. And there's something about that old school process too that really connects you to the records and how to do genealogy in a process-based way that I think is really helpful. And I when I'm training a new staff member, that's how we go about it still, because it is the best approach. Even though the internet can do wonderful things for us, it cannot yet produce a technically correct family tree.
I can't say I missed the motion-induced nausea from a microfilm machine going through.
That is true.
I certainly don't miss that. If somebody came in and wanted to get started on genealogy at the Columbus Metropolitan Library, what's the first bit of advice you're going to give them?
Yeah, if they've never done genealogy before, we have a very basic family tree that we're going to say, just write down what you know, and then we're going to fill in all the rest of the gaps from there. So sometimes people can go back, they can write down 6 generations on that first chart, right. And then we start, really far back. And, sometimes people maybe only know their parents' names, or maybe not even that. And so that gives us a way to jump in with them and meet them where they are. But we're always happy to help.
Well, yeah. Angela, before I let you go, once again, if you could give the website for the library and where they can find out more information.
Yeah, our website is www.columbuslibrary.org, and then click on local history and genealogy at the top, and you're going to get all kinds of resources there. You can also even book an appointment there directly with a librarian, and they can either get you started if you've never done genealogy before, or they can help you with the brick wall that you're facing. They love brick wall questions, so if you want to play Stump the Librarian, we're in.
Well, Angela, thanks again for joining me today on the OGS Ohio Roots podcast to talk about the Columbus Metropolitan Library, all the resources there. I hope our listeners take advantage and make a trip.
And thank you so much for having me today, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you.
Great. Thanks again, Angela. Well, I want to thank Angela for joining me today on the OGS Ohio Roots podcast and for sharing with us all of the different resources and programs that are offered at the Columbus Metropolitan Library for those of us doing family history and genealogical research. I hope you enjoyed the conversation we had today with Angela O'Neill, and thank you for listening to the OGS Ohio Roots podcast. Curious about your family's Ohio past? The Ohio Genealogical Society is your gateway to uncovering generations of family history. Whether you're a seasoned researcher or just starting your journey, the OGS offers expert resources, local chapters, exclusive online records, online and in-person programs, and a passionate community ready to help you. Join today and bring your family story to life, because your family's history matters. Visit ogs.org to start your discoveries.
The Ohio Roots podcast is brought to you by the Ohio Genealogical Society, the premier gateway for discovering your Ohio family history. Hosted by OGS Executive Director Noel Poyer and edited by Luke Poyer. Theme song is Beautiful Ohio, recorded by Bob Stanley and his orchestra in 1944. To learn more about joining the Ohio Genealogical Society, visit www.ogs.org.